Hey guys, welcome back to another Missing Person Case Monday. So in today's episode, we're going to be discussing the Bradley sisters. The Bradley sisters are from the south side of Chicago, and they have been missing since 2001. I really wanted to touch on their story because I was reading something on a Facebook group, and their story just kind of really hit home, close to home, because when you're a mom, it seems like these cases tend to hit you a little harder than others. Not that they mean any less, but this case really touched me, especially as I was just reading and listening to so much, and I'm really trying to figure out, how did these two precious baby girls just disappear, vanish, and there's no sign, no traces of them? So I really wanted to touch on their story. But before I begin, there was a video that I watched of their story, and I read articles, but the articles say something a little different. It kind of doesn't have all the information from the video that I watched that a Chicago person did. It was like a show that they do about missing people on YouTube as well. And I was just listening to that because I always like to compare, you know, the facts. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I will be jumping into it as I go in the story. So Tiondre and Diamond Bradley both went missing on July 6th of 2001. Tiondre was 10 years old at the time of her disappearance, and Diamond was 3 years old. The family says that they were extremely close, even though they had a gap in age. You know, Tiondre treated her baby sister like that was kind of like her daughter. They were glued at the hip with one another. Her aunt even said in a video that, you know, she would walk with her on her hip, you know, like she was her mom. You know, that's how close of a relationship that they had. So Tracy Bradley, their mother, had to go to work that morning. She was supposed to work a short shift, and then when she got back, they were going to do something together as a family. There was an interview that I watched that I probably clip at the end of the video. So
Though you must wonder who would wanna hurt you.
I don't know, and it just hurts a lot, you know, and it's going to continue hurting until they return.
Bradley, a single mother of four, trying hard to make ends meet, was at work. Now, aside from her grief, she's had to withstand the subtle and not so subtle accusations that she somehow was to blame for the girl's disappearance because she wasn't home.
I was going to work, be trying to make money, you know, to survive for me and my kids. Pay rent, like gas, you know what I'm saying? So any parent would do that.
And then there were days of questions from police.
I went through the process and everything, you know.
Lie detector
test, okay, I passed it. You know, but I was questioned for 72 hours in there, you know.
Bradley says she hopes someone comes forward with the real answers, if not for her other two children. She said family occasions are bittersweet.
I kind of feel the other two left out, you know, because they're not around, and I could have shared the same moment with all four of them.
The uncertainty has taken a toll on Bradley.
I can't sleep because I'm thinking about them every day. They're out there somewhere. They just don't know where they are.
When she does sleep, Bradley has this recurring dream that does give her hope, but it also breaks her heart.
The only thing that I will ask Tiondre, where's Diamond at? She said, Mom, I'm gonna take you there. And we're about to go, but the dream just constantly go away.
A prayer vigil for Diamond and Tiondre.
the video so you guys can watch that her mother did in like 2016, because you'll probably have the same questions as me, but I'll get to that a little later. So Tracy had to go to work, and like I said before, you know, in the video, Diamond's father actually took her to work. He was, I guess, he would always come over and stop in on the girls while she would go to work. But the articles that I was reading never really discussed anything about him. So that's why I kind of wanted to elaborate, because even though it was on the show, I don't know if that is necessarily true. So I can only go off on the information that I find. So nonetheless, he took her to work, and Tiondre stayed home with her baby sister. Tracy Bradley, she would always call to check up on them while she was at work. And she said that she was calling, but there was no answer. She had missed a phone call, I guess, from her daughter, who had called her to let her know that someone was knocking on the door. So she ended up getting off, comes home, and she doesn't see her children anywhere. There's a note that is left that said that they had walked to the store and they would be right back. Pretty much the last time she's seen her children from that morning, around 6 or 6:30 in the morning. That's the last time she physically seen her children. My take on it all was, you're probably wondering as well, why would you leave your children home by themselves? You know, I think that's just the natural thing. You're trying to figure out, like, why would you leave your children home? And you try to understand, because again, they're from the south side of Chicago. You know, there wasn't really anyone present in the home. I'm assuming that could really help, because even the video that I watched, you know, she even says it herself. You know, I was trying to go to work to make ends meet, to pay bills, and I had to do what I had to do. And, you know, basically how it was, her daughter had to kind of step in. But where I'm confused is, a lot of articles don't necessarily play on that Diamond's father, the young baby girl who's 3 years old, actually took her to work, or he would come, you know, he would come over and to assist them. So that's where the confusion came in for me, because it was like, why didn't you take the baby girls with you? Why did he take the baby girls with them to drop you off at work if he would constantly, you know, check in on them? You know, that's where my mind instantly went to, because I'm like, that sounds really strange. And then a lot of the family also said that, you know, Tiondre writing a note wasn't very like her, because she would always call her mother if an issue would arise, or if someone was knocking at the door. You know, she was taught that to call her mom, you know, and that's just what it was. So that was another thing that stood out, that the family said that they didn't really think was like her to do. And then I was just like doing more research, just trying to see if maybe they found anything, because of course this happened in 2001. We're in 2019. You know, their anniversary is coming up in a few weeks. So I just wanted to see maybe if they found anything. So as I was reading, they did hire a private investigator, but there has not been any signs of Tiondre and Diamond Bradley. Their case actually made national news back in the day. I, for one, never heard of this case. I don't know, it could have just been me being a naive teenager. I think I was like only 11. So I really probably didn't pay too much, you know, to missing person cases. You know, that was just the naive person of me. I do think that there's a lot of underlying issues, and like the mom, she said in the interview, she did a polygraph test. The police and detectives, they interrogated her for like over 72 hours, and you know, she passed the polygraph test, and she claims to this day she had nothing to do with the disappearance of her children. I just think it's really sad, because it's really sad when you have a mom who is trying to work, trying to do the best that she can for her children, and you just don't know what happened to your babies, because you're at work, you're trying to do everything to make sure they have food in their mouth, you know, clothes on their backs, and something happens to them and they vanish. You know, I was researching like, wow, there's no information on these precious baby girls, and it just makes you think, damn, you know, did they in fact go to the store? You know, were they kidnapped, put in human trafficking? Especially in Chicago, you know, as many women and children are going missing and dying in Chicago, you know, or shit, period, around the world. But it just makes you think, like, what happened to the Bradley sisters? And someone knows, someone has to know, because you just like drop off the face of the earth like that. Like, there has to be someone out there that knows. And I was just reading a lot of YouTube comments on this case, because of course, like I said before, the case has been around, you know, 2001, and a lot of people were saying that they think that Diamond's father did it because he had access to the apartment, he had access to the little girls, and they think maybe because he wasn't the first baby girl's dad, you know, maybe he did something to her and he harmed her or whatever, and then he had to just get rid of both of them. You know, that's the mystery around their case, is as I'm researching and just looking just to try to get any freaking idea about what happened to the Bradley sisters, because it's 2019 and it's the sad reality that literally 1% of missing people are found, and that's sad. And I know I say that's sad in all the videos, but it's really sad because, you know, you have a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old, and you're like, what the hell happened to them? They just vanished off the face of the earth, no sights. And then take this, a lot of people, there has been a lot of reports of hoax, people acting like they are the Bradley sisters. And you know how hard that is on the family. You're tugging at the family's heart. You know, you're out here claiming that you're one of the Bradley sisters, and then they do a DNA test and your ass is not the Bradley sisters. I would really want to press charges on you, because that is some inconsiderate shit that you could do to a family when their loved ones has been missing for damn near 19 years. It's like, come on. And, you know, I was looking at their Facebook group that they have dedicated to them. I think a family member advocates for them. And I was just reading, you know, just reading different things. And, you know, how heartbreaking it is that someone would do that. And not only one, I think 2 people have done this. They have claimed to be the Bradley sisters, and they are not the Bradley sisters. Like, ma'am, you're messing with someone's mental, someone's, you know, stress levels. Like, what the heck is wrong with y'all out here? So that's pretty much the Bradley sisters case. Again, like all the other cases, guys, there's not a lot to go off. They even had a private investigator. All I can do is just share their stories with you guys, and as we share it, we keep their name alive like all the other ones, and hopefully someone out there finds it in their heart to tell. Like, I mean, it brings me back to when I was just watching When They See Us, how the guy, he's seen what Corey Wise was going through, and he ended up, you know, confessing to the crime. You know, it just makes you think about things like that, how one person can make a difference in a case and break it open, and we can figure out what happened to them. So guys, this is their story. I pray that their family, after all these years, continues to never give up hope. And I hope that by me sharing it, it sheds some light on their story. And I'm definitely praying for you guys. And I don't just say that, I actually mean what I say when I say I'm going to pray for you. But, you know, all I can do is just share their story and keep their name alive. So if you have any information on the Bradley sisters, I will drop all the links down below. I'll even drop the Facebook group so you guys can join in to keep track of their journey, their family's journey of finding out what happened to the Bradley sisters. They went missing on July 6th of 2001, and they have not been seen yet. So guys, until the next missing person case Monday, all's fair in love and trying to find our loved ones, because man, it's hard. I don't want to keep saying it's sad, but it is sad. It's really sad. Like, it in this case really tugged at my heart, man, because I don't have a 10-year-old, but I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and God knows like what I would do if anything happened to my children like that. Look at me getting all emotional, because that's how passionate I am about stuff like this, because you just never know how that one piece of information can change the game of it all.